Hello there, my fellow TUS subjects. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to The Altars. Episode 2, Making a New Me. I think I would like to explore out here this unexplored section before obtaining the requisite organics. So that would be going to the north, this direction. And we ought to keep an eye out for any of our supplies or any untapped, wrong way, untapped material, etc. So as you can see, as we enter a new zone, it will auto-fill in the map. Now, as far as storage goes, and I failed to mention this, liquid storage and solid storage are kind of separate. So organics takes up a totally different storage bay than regular storage. Your liquid storage is based upon your base size. So our base can store 300 organics, whereas our solid storage is based upon how many storage units we have on our base. I just figured I should explain how and why those two things are separate. Alright, we have a lot more shallow deposits, as well as metal up here. And I'm going to choose to hit the shallow deposits, because a lot of what we build in our base is made of metals. And having an abundance of metals is kind of nice. It gives us more options as to what we build and how we use our resources. So we went from like 20 metal to 151. Okay, I've been that way, so let's turn back. This is where we found the rubidium. So at this point, we might as well ascend up to the organics matter outpost and collect until end of day. So here's the difference. We're collecting organics a lot slower as a result of working overtime. And I'll collect one more into the radiation here. And now we're done. Got a little radiated, but we'll recover. And it's still before end of day. So, we're not, like, exhausted yet. Alright, it wants me to deal with the radiation. So it's asking for me to go to the mechanics, which is over here. And I'm going to say auto-load filters. So in order to keep the radiation out of the base, we have filters that are single-use and depletable. And we can keep the radiation inside the base down, because as you can see in the bottom left here, my personal radiation level is quite high. So I let it climb that high just so that you can see it reduce over time. Alright, so let's get to sleep. Before we become exhausted. Getting to sleep before 11 is kind of important if you don't want to wake up late. So we're at 110 out of the 180 organic matter to gather. So let's try to grab that. And as you can see, my radiation level has dropped a little bit over time. All right. Fast travel over to the outpost. And chip away. Next up, it wants me to build a kitchen. Because we have finite food and I need to be able to produce food, I think that's pretty important. Build kitchen. And let's see. Put the kitchen here and move the small storages over there for now. I could hypothetically get rid of this elevator shaft, but I don't think I will. I'm gonna put the kitchen up instead of down. Prepare 6 mush meals. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move the kitchen and the womb so that it's like that. The things that you interact with more, I like to put in towards the center of the base for convenience. So in order to prepare our food, you consume 1 meal each day. Meals can be prepared in the kitchen. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these take organics to produce. Done. The next task is to start the engines in the command center. Now the question for you guys is, do you want me to... So the journey cost in order to move the base is 168 organics, which we currently have. We have 178. Quick question. Should I collect more resources or depart? It'll be up to you. Additionally, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to potentially craft more radiation filters. So that we have a nice stockpile of them. Which of course uses a lot of organics. And I did see that you guys are voting for me to gather, so I'm going to use up the organics to craft the rad filters. So now if we take a look here, I have 1 extra rad filter, which gives us 5 days, 2 hours, and 9 minutes of filtration. And I'm going to create the rest of these rad filters and then collect the organics needed to depart. We do have 5 days, so there isn't really an absolute urgency, although leaving it to the last minute might not be a good idea. Okay, take a look at We've got about a week's worth of rad filters. Time to get organics again. This time, I am not going to work in the night radiation, because my radiation levels are about halfway to lethal. I just wanted to demonstrate that radiation did go down over time, and also potentially how dangerous it is. There are no deep deposits left out here. I've discovered the entire map, and all there is the organics. So you have 130 of the 300, or of the 168 organics that we need in order to depart. And I fell asleep with 4 minutes to spare. Now, in terms of extra supplies, I also don't think it's a terrible idea. We don't have a renewable source of metals yet, but I don't think it's a terrible idea to create a mining outpost and a pylon. I'll have you guys decide on that. Should I make a spare mining outpost and pylons? Is that a good use of my metals, or should I save the metals for radiation filters? And I would like to try to fill our organics supplies up all the way, if possible. And it looks like you guys do want spare. Got it. Alright, that's about full. 298 out of 300. And I can work a little bit past when I'm tired. So I'll be able to get the mining outpost tonight. And then tomorrow, I'll go for the extra pylons, and then we can get a boogie. Get a move on. Can you pick up the one for the organics and take it with you? You'll see. Okay. Is there anything else I could do with my limited resources? I can make one more rad filter. And then I'll collect the organics I used to make this radiation filter. And then we can depart. You know, thank you for the resub. Alright. Organics is totally topped up all the way. So, if we go to the command center here, we can do an engines test.
Whoa. What just happened? Come on. Do this to me now.
Alright, turn the lever in machinery.
That's sorted. Let's give it another go.
For my convenience, Hey, machinery. I'm gonna move you around. You're next to the command center now.
What? Not again. You have got to be kidding me. Just my luck to be stuck in a junkyard. Hey, you still there? I really need your help. I can't get out of here. I did everything according to the manual, but there's a malfunction I can't fix. I just don't know how.
Rhadamant can save you. I need to check data consistency and CMQC modules.
Save me how?
What, Rhadamant can save me? How exactly?
I don't have access to the quantum computer.
Only the captain has access codes to the quantum computer.
Access granted.
Man, that was easy.
Okay. Check your data consistency in the quantum computer. Where'd I put that again? Bottom floor?
What is this? Mine records. What's going on? Wait. I recognize this. It's my life.
Distant memories. Childhood memories, fuzzy and distant. The mining town you grew up in, rows of similar apartment blocks. The local grocery store Mom worked in. The playground where you spent more time than at home. A family like many others. A family like many others down there. Your father coming late from work in the mine, usually drunk, always pissed off. Your mother doing her best to keep your family together. Your constant desire to run away, to get out of that place and never come back. 15 years old, turning a blind eye. Another shitty day at school. You're taking the longer route home. Hey, what's that fight about? The girl shouts for help. She's looking straight at you. You should intervene, but the fear, no. You better not get involved. Run back home. One day you'll get out of here. You have to. 16 years old, the need to escape. It's so hard to study for exams when your dad's yelling behind the door. Mom doesn't have the strength to fight anymore. Something's wrong with her. She's weaker, more passive. You know you should do your best to support her, but being home is just unbearable. You count the days to graduation, hoping those exams go well. 19-year-old at the crossroads. You open the envelope with trembling hands. It's a good college, and it's close to home. You should visit Mom regularly and get a good education. You tear the paper and see the results. No, not good enough. The only place that wants you is hundreds of miles away. You have to leave Mom alone with him. 19-year-old going away. You promised yourself you'd get out of there. You have to keep that promise. You can't waste your life. It's not something she'd want. And you can still visit her, a little less often maybe, but you can. You will visit her. 21-year-old, your place far from home. It's been months since you've been home, but you can't miss the post-exam party. Your friends will be celebrating, their company makes you feel good, and you've found your place. Do you really want to spend the entire day on the train, only to see mom for a couple of hours before she goes to bed early? And all you've been left with is a constantly drunk oaf of a father. 22-year-old working abroad. You look at the letter, it's tempting. Working abroad for 2 months. You could earn enough to support yourself for the whole semester. You could ditch those lousy part-time jobs and focus on studying. It's tempting. And you could send some money to mom. She needs it for her treatment. 23-year-old, too late to say goodbye. You missed it, the moment she collapsed. The ambulance taking her to the hospital. It all went so fast. You missed the opportunity to talk to her when she was still conscious. You're back home now, but what difference does it make? You fucked up. It's too late to say goodbye. 23-year-old, carry on for her. You failed her, but what could you have done? Stayed behind in that miserable place? To become bitter and dead inside? Be like dad? The sense of guilt holds you by the throat. What if you ran away from it all? Ditched college, made a fresh start, forgot. But wouldn't that be given up again? No, mom would want you to get on with your studies. Get a good job. You have to carry on for her. 24-year-old, it's different with her. Your heart pounds at the thought of this evening. You never thought someone like Lena would want to hang out with you. Slow down. It's only a project. Maybe you should have gotten something better than beer? You could have bought wine, but wouldn't that seem like you're hitting on her? You're only teaming up for a project, but she's so different from anyone else you've ever hooked up with, and she likes you. You can see she likes you. 24-year-old, am I good enough? This is it. She moved in. But is your cheap little rented apartment good enough for her? Her parents would hate it. You know they would. And she knows it too. Is this why she doesn't talk to them anymore? She's not ashamed of you, is she? Whatever they think of you, you're gonna have to prove them wrong. Work hard and give Lena the good life she deserves. 25-year-old, new opportunities. Hard work pays off, right? You can be proud of yourself. A diploma with honors, and that offer, a PhD. It's tempting as hell. But the salary, how much longer are you going to be a broke ass for Lena? You'll think about it later. Time to celebrate now. 26-year-old, better prospects. It was a tough conversation, but you handled it well. The professor understood your motives. Working for a private company gives you better prospects. You'll finally be able to move out of that dorm. Take Lena for a proper holiday. Yeah, it was a good decision. The purgatory of 9 to 5. At age 27. On the subway again. Damn, you hate the crowd. Day in and day out. Maybe you could take the train and stay longer at work? No, your boss would never agree to that. Punctuality is all that matters to him. Not what you actually do. Sometimes you feel all he needs you to do is punch your card. And for what? Pushing papers and pretending to get things done? Someone pushes you as you try to take a seat. Man, Monday mornings are the worst. 28-year-old, a dream house. Your face beams as you exit the bank, hand in hand with Lena. Finally, signing the mortgage papers was easier than you expected. Maybe it was worth putting up with that idiot of a boss for 2 years to get this place, a dream house. Lena has so many ideas for decorating it. If you hurry, maybe you can even get ready for Christmas. You'd love to see her parents' faces when they see it. Yeah, you should convince her to invite them over. 30-year-old, the crisis hits. No, this can't be true. Not now. You stare at the screen blankly. You heard about the crash on the stock exchange. You heard everyone talk about worldwide crisis approaching. But you? Laid off? How will you ever tell Lena about it? About your plans for Christmas? 30-year-old, a busy night. Red lights. You close your eyes and listen to the city traffic. Damn radio. All they know are Christmas songs this time of year. You don't want to be reminded of that. Not when you're sitting behind the wheel of a leased cab. It's almost 6 o'clock. You promised Lena you'd be back for Christmas Eve by 5, but it's a busy night, and people leave bigger tips on Christmas. 31, back to square one. You listen as Lena talks excitedly. She really wants you to take that offer, move abroad, sell the house, but for how much? It would hardly be enough to pay off the bank. With the soaring rate of interests, and what about you? It's hard to find a decent job at home, let alone a foreign country. After all your efforts to make ends meet, it would feel like going back to square one. Damn, you just wish she didn't want it so bad. 31, holding on. You've wondered if she's really okay with the decision to stay. Maybe you should have said yes, but how could you? It was a crazy idea in your situation. You need to prove it to her that it was the only sensible choice. You need to get your shit together, give her a better life here, maybe find a second job. 32, falling apart. Damn, she's getting on your nerves. Why doesn't she just tell you it's all your fault? Those bills are piling up, as if you weren't already working hard enough. Why does she make such a big deal of a few drinks before you hit the set? You deserve to unwind after a 12-hour-long day of work. 33-year-old drowning sorrows. You look down at another bottle, and the wedding ring she gave back to you. A job at Alicorp. Freedom, finally. She's got it. A new, better life without you. All you could ever do was hold her down. Look at yourself, drowning your sorrows in a bar. You're everything you promised yourself you'd never be. Why the hell did you fuck it all up? 34-year-old, a way out. You toss and turn in your bed. You can't stop thinking about that Alicorp poster. Help us make a change. Space mining mission. In search of that mysterious substance, Rhadamant. It's a long shot, but it says you don't need any professional experience, and you know you need a change. You haven't managed to stick to one job for more than several months. Nothing makes you happy. You're stuck. What if it's a way out? 35-year-old, Project Dolly. You enter the spaceship with a tingling anxiety and excitement. You're going to space, far away from here, just like you always wanted. Far away from your problems. You'll think about them later, or maybe they'll be gone by the time you get back. So that's Jan's life path so far, which is vitally important to know when making decisions going forward.
How did they get it, and what for? Hey, I checked the quantum computer.
Mind records?
What the fuck? Mind records? What the hell are you doing with that data? It's got everything. My whole life exposed.
Mind records need ish procedure.
No, I want answers. Shit. What do you want with it?
Initiate breaching procedure.
Branching? What exactly will be branching?
This is you.
What? You what? Is that your whole answer?
Create the altar.
Alter? I'd alter what?
Lose your life.
My life? Okay. You mean as in... Okay, wait a minute. You're not suggesting I use Rhadamant to create someone and to alter their mind. That's not what you're saying, right? All right. How about my other options? You jerk. I don't have other options, do I? What is it doing? I remember that alternate life path. So this is what the branching is about?
So here, when he decided to go away to college and leave mom, there was an alternative path his life could have taken where he stayed behind. You lock the door to your room and turn up the music. You're so fed up with the constant shouting. Is this what you rejected college for? Putting up with that frustration and drunkenness? You told yourself you'd take care of mom, but he's not making it easy. Maybe next time you should just lock the door on him? But what would mom say? So it is an entire alternate path, forking from deciding to stay home or go abroad. This is the alternative path that was created. And I'm just gonna summarize this. So, the technician path stood up to his father for the safety of his mother. Life had its ups and downs, but he spent good time with his mother. They cooked together, and he decided to walk away from the mine despite staying home and not follow in his father's footsteps. He was able to say his final goodbye when his mother finally succumbed to her illness. He started to brighten his day by fixing engines and tinkering, going to vocational school. He had an unfamiliar feeling of success when his new boss and mentor respected his work. But the work was involved in a shady business. He lost trust when his boss was caught with fake batteries and counterfeit parts, and he treated it like a life lesson not to trust others. He was approached and turned down turned down any of the requests by the criminals that his boss was involved in. He stood strong and went paycheck to paycheck, thinking of his mother, and didn't succumb to crime or drugs or any of that. He was haunted from the ghosts of his past. He's drifting through. Friends burst out in laughter, buying drinks for people and not making any meaningful connections. At 30 years old, signs of trouble. A bit of a crisis. Whole branch was shut down. And an advert keeps getting on your nerves to search for rupidium. At 33, runs into his father again. And at 35, signs up for Project Dolly.
Hey there. Wow. Hello? Can you hear me? What is this? Where am I?
So we can say, relax, you're in a lab, or focus, this is an emergency. Of course, don't forget that we left off trying to escape the sun that's going to cook us alive and breaking down machinery. But regardless, you want to say, relax, you're in a lab.
You're in a lab inside the SIBA unit. Your memories might be a bit fuzzy, but relax. You're gonna be okay. Yeah. I recognize the base, I think. Wait. You look funny. Ha. Oh. What was that? I wanted to laugh, but I'm like... indifferent. I think you're on some meds. What? What for? It's so you don't panic when you wake up. Why would I panic? I'll explain later. Right now, let's check your mental condition, okay? Do you think you can, introduce yourself? Sure. Can you? You first. I insist. All right. Jan Dolsky, Senior Technician at Ally Corp, Mining Operations. There. Did I pass? Wow. Amazing. It actually worked. What? What worked? And what the hell are you anyway? This may be hard to process, but my name is Jan Dolsky, too. Of course it is. You're not bad for an imitation, but what the hell are you? Is this some kind of experiment? Because if it is, nobody warned me.
What do you guys think? Is it an experiment or is it not? How do you want to respond?
It's not an experiment. This is for real. And I'm for real. So, what's going on? Well, I got stranded in this base, and, I needed someone to help me move it. Because it got broken. Then, okay, this is the crazy part. I learned that there's this functionality of the quantum computer on board to, create alternate versions of a person's life. What? Replicate a person, but with different experiences. Mind records. Man. If there's anyone in a bad mental condition in this room, it's definitely not me. The QC's only functionality is to navigate these junkets. I mean, theoretically, it could do other stuff, but such bullshit? I know. It's absurd. I thought the same, but here you are, right? Right. If I understand you correctly, you're telling me you're a alternate version of me with a different mind?
Yes, you can put it that way, or no, it's the other way around. It's also worth mentioning, as part of the game mechanics, as you've noticed, like thought bubbles above his head, that depending on how you react, it will affect him being Jan the technician differently. And, you know, I assume you guys can see where this is going, where you create multiple versions of yourself to fulfill various roles of the crew, and all of those various alters have their own personalities that are unique to them, and talking with them in the way that they want to be talked to or responded to is important.
Sort of, yeah. And, you said we were stranded. Yes. It's just us. Like I said, there's a malfunction in the machinery. If you don't help me fix it soon, we're both gonna die. So, wait. Let me get this straight. This is not an experiment, and you're a different version of me. And this version of me woke me from cryosleep to help fix a malfunction because there's no one else on board. What if there was no malfunction? Where would I be?
Well, would he exist or not?
You'd still exist somewhere? Theoretically, at least? Theoretically? Wow. You bastard. I can see now what the meds are for. I can't even lash out at you, just this passiveness. What am I? Look, this is a lot, and we'll sort it out, I promise. But trust me, if we don't fix the machinery fast, we're gonna go in a very bad way, and you'll never get the chance to understand this properly. Experience your feelings without the meds. I don't like this kind of pressure. Well, that makes two of us. Fine. Show me the way. Unbelievable. What a screw up. A 3-year-old would have figured it out. Okay. In any other case, I'd say don't touch anything here ever again. But unfortunately, this is a two-man job. On my sign, pull that lever over there. Just don't yank it like an idiot. Pull it gently. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now. Yes! It worked! You did it. We're gonna live. Let's get one thing straight. I did what you created me for. Now stay away from me.
Thank you for tuning in to The Alters, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. But please keep in mind I've asked for no backseating and no spoiler, so if you could respect that, that would be great. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow alters.